Hey, what's going on, guys? Coach Luca here. What I wanted to take you through today is actually something that was kind of like real life, real time, because my left shoulder's been bugging me a little bit. A long time ago, I had a partial labrum tear, never got fixed. Actually feels perfectly fine most of the time, but I'm about to box in a little bit. So what would I do, and like what's a protocol that you can do to make your shoulder feel better? Now, as always, you know, every shoulder is different. Who knows what you got going on? But a lot of the things that I'll be doing like will help just about anybody, okay? If you have like nagging, I would say nagging shoulder pains, looking to create some more mobility and stability in the shoulder. So we'll do both. Okay, so some of the stuff I'll explain. I might not do it as long as I would usually. So the breathing drills. So first of all, you might say, well, why would I do breathing drills when it comes to shoulders? And if you have a ton of tension, put it this way, you know, if you're a shallow breather, you're stressed out, you're gonna have more tension, and there's a proper way to breathe. So I'm just gonna show you, like, I'll do like 3 to 4 breaths of this, and this is something that we'll use like with clients and myself too, to just go from, you know, sympathetic, high-strung, fight or flight to more parasympathetic, rest and digest. So when I lay on the ground, usually it's good to put feet up so you're relaxed here. I'm gonna exhale through my mouth fully, so until there's no more air in my stomach. Even though I'm talking, my ribs come down. And I'm gonna breathe in through my nose into my belly here, right? So I get as much air in as I can, and again. All the air is out, breathe in through my nose. I'll do one more. So if you guys actually saw this, you'd see that the first breath, not so much, but the second and third, what starts happening is air goes down here. So diaphragm, mid-rib cage, and then apical expansion actually starts going up here, right? Which not only like releases tension in the muscles, it actually creates some stability in the shoulder there too. So that in itself can sometimes, trust me, we've done a lot of these where, you know, we'll test internal rotation, do some breathing drills, you get more, right? It just creates a training window, right? So although I just did 3 breaths, usually I'll say, hey, you know, do 8 to 10. Now at the beginning, that might be very, very challenging for you. That's why we teach breathing. You know, it might sound like we're teaching breathing, but it does help, okay? We'll dig a little bit more into that, but that is the first thing that I usually start with. Number 2, like releasing, I got a whole bunch of gadgets around here, okay? So it's releasing things that usually get a little bit wound up when it comes to the shoulder. So I'm gonna start with the backside here, from infraspinatus to, I would say, supraspinatus, everything, because this is what's called a zone of apposition, right? Zone of convergence. Zone of convergence just means that there's a lot of muscles that attach, right? So you got long head of the triceps that come in, the lats come in, infraspinatus come in. There's just a lot of muscles in the back here. And because they're all crossing over, like you get the gunkiness, right? A lot of times. So, and also, you know, if you don't have great external rotation, some of this stuff is gonna get like gunked up as well. So I'm gonna put this ball on the back of my shoulder here. So I'm just gonna work my left one because that's the one I got problem with, and that was spicy real quick. So the thing is, you'll find this, you know, these spots, tender spots, you'll know exactly where they are. So from there, watch, I'm gonna turn my thumb in and then out, and I'm essentially kind of just rolling over, almost doing like a pin and stretch technique. And I'm gonna keep working it. I mean, I could say, hey, do 10, but really just do until you start feeling it get a little bit looser, right? So right there, starting to get a little looser. That doesn't mean you're gonna get it completely loose, right? I'm gonna find another spot. You can tell that this is definitely a little spicy for me right now. Right, so rather than just rolling around, not to say that there's, you know, that's a horrible idea, I'm moving, right, into that position, overhead flexion, right? And I'm gonna go again, find another spot. Oh, yep, that's the one. And again, right? So the thing is, there's no kind of like golden rule on this. Usually I'll hit 3 to 4 different ones. Ooh. And you can actually even move around. So right now, I don't know if you guys see, but I'm actually moving, kind of finding these spots, right? and it's starting to feel better, even though, like I said, you'll definitely feel some juiciness there in the back, okay? So just from that, a lot of times we'll get a little bit more range of motion as that kind of starts letting go. Okay, so when you think about all these structures of what pulls the shoulder down and in, so we got, pec, we got pec minor, we got subclavius here, we got lats. So those are the things that we want to hit at first, right? Because we want to create a release. So lat, we can just go old school on this. I mean, shit, old school, but long arm here, all right? I'm going to go down on the lat and just find those different spots. Also, too, I mentioned it before, but long head of the tricep, right? So usually once I'll get the lat here, I'll go into the long head of the tricep, and you can go shortened right there where it kind of connects into where the lat inserts. And that's been a tender spot for me for years. So now I can go long here. I tend to like to push down here on the elbow too, and just find those spots, and you can start, same thing, kind of pin and stretch type of technique. And I can slowly start feeling it feel better, right? So once again, no golden rule here. Most of the time you're not going to have 20 minutes to be doing foam rolling and stuff, but you do want to address these areas, and some of them I'm showing you a little bit longer. That feels already a lot better. Okay, next part, what I like to do is use a bench. I mean, we got a box here, but like a bench is great for this, just because you can hang, right? So I'm going to use you can use the smaller ball. I really like this one when it comes to rolling out pecs. So finding both where you go into pec minor here, but then rather than just like rolling it, same thing. I'll go posture up, internal rotation, break some of that tissue up, right, and get that moving. Right, you can also simulate, for instance, overhead press, kind of pin that tissue, and if I'm hanging over here, now I can go think about pressing, right? Do a bench press or essentially a fly, coming out and getting those tissues. I can mess around, go all types of different directions. Ooh, spicy, right? Now, right now, I've been spending time here, but now I'm going to go here into the subclavius area. Same thing. Ooh. Okay, same thing. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here showing you guys, but essentially even just that's made a huge difference. Now, I'll go and also work on the trap. So think about, like, we kind of have been working all the structures around the shoulder, right? So I'm going to go into the trap. I'm going to show you guys what I really like for the trap is just using the rig here. And you can do like mobility balls that are put down here, but putting the ball right here. Now I'm going to go from the top, getting into that trap. Woo! Hello. And sometimes like holding it there, then just working the neck, tuck, extend. Oof. Sometimes you'll get some referred kind of like almost headache symptoms, right? Because that's referred points for headaches and things like that. So although it feels spicy, right, I definitely feel it letting go. And from there, second part, I can start now also, right, moving the arm because this is all connected. It's a little bit of a moment of silence right there because I need it. Okay. Man, just a little bit of that feels so much better. Oh, like a new arm, right? So now that we kind of had some of these things let go, I'm going to also do, so imagine my upper back, right? Most people, because of the postures that we live in, they'll kind of be here, right? Whether it's computer, phone, whatever it may be. So they don't get good extension of the of the upper back, right? So what we're going to do, any type of roller that you want to have, I'm going to go to the bottom of my upper back, so thoracic spine, right? I'm gonna keep my ribs down. So what I wanna prevent is my ribs just flying up, because then I'm really not working on extension. I'm going to keep my ribs down, kind of keep my hands here so to give me feedback, keep my chin tucked, and then I'm gonna bend over. Right, so I'm bending over that point on the roller and essentially trying to bend my upper back around it, across it, without having my ribs fly up. Key here is keep the chin tucked. So it might feel subtle. So let's say I get 8 to 10 there, then I'd go up about an inch or two, and again. So the higher you go, you're not gonna feel a lot of extension, and that's okay. Just think about the vertebrae. Rolling around, gonna go up a little bit again. Right in the middle of my shoulder blades there. Okay, so now I'm gonna have a little more extension, which allows me to be more, I would say, open here to get my shoulders overhead, right? Because if I'm, for instance, do this test, right? Push your neck forward and then try to get your arms overhead, right? It's not gonna happen, but as soon as I can get upright and extend, now I can do that, right? So that's part of why we want to drill that extension, because we stay in that. Now, the second part is we also want that rotation, right? Because when we can't rotate our upper back, we're gonna compensate with the shoulder, with the low back, with the neck. So this is a simple one called Windmill. You guys have probably seen me do it, but I'll go over it again anyways. So I'm gonna push, so I got this straight line here, right? I'm pushing into the roller so I don't get that low back rotation. I'm gonna reach with that shoulder blade, with that scapula. I'm gonna reach here, thumb down, and I'm gonna exhale and try to open up. What's great here sometimes is like I might just hang out also and just take a deep breath in and exhale. Get a little bit more rotation, then I'm coming back. Again, I'm looking with my eyes at my hand. The reason I breathe out is because when I can get air out of the thorax, it's going to allow me to get more range. Right? So I'm also stretching the pec here. I'm pushing my knee into the pad so my low back doesn't cheat and rotate, right? So, boom. Okay, I actually did my right side, where my left side's the one that's bugging. So let's just do a couple of rotations here real quick. And so I'll usually go 8 to 10 on this. And let's say this next one's gonna be the last one. The last one, I'd go here, and then same thing. I'd push into the pad, take a deep breath in, and maybe a couple more breaths. Right, so I'm getting that extra rotation. Because now we're training that thoracic rotation. Another quick drill, I'm just gonna show you like a couple of reps on this, is extension rotation. So imagine that same position, but this down arm is going to drive up. So I'm constantly driving up to the ceiling. This other one, I'm gonna go thumb down, okay? And usually I'd actually have a roller underneath my neck too, but I'm driving this arm up. I'm going internal rotation, external rotation. Notice, always exhale, right? Same thing, I drive that. So I'm really trying to keep this nice and locked out. So I'm getting that thoracic extension while I'm internally, externally rotating my shoulder, okay? From there, and by the way, guys, too, like all the drills that I'm showing, you know, when I do all of that, sometimes, depending on the time I have, sometimes if I only have 10 minutes, I'm gonna take the biggest bang for the buck ones. And as you do this, you're gonna find out which ones are the big bang for the buck ones, right? This one, usually I'd actually have a bigger roller here, because I'd go from my kind of child's pose position and roll out. And then from here, I'm pushing into the pad and then lifting up. Come back up. It's almost like I'm going to show you guys this against the wall too, but it's almost like a wall slide, right? But we're doing it with the roller. And I'd usually go a wider roller on this. Okay? So I really like that drill on the ground. The way to do it, actually, we'll go up against this wall right here. Just a great wall slide. Go into staggered stance position, squeezing your glutes. So we want to have good posture. This is key here, right? Really having good posture, bringing up. I get a little bit of a lean, but notice I'm not forward head posturing. I'm not rounded. So I'm nice and tall. I'm squeezing my glutes. I have my pelvis under my rib cage. And from there, I'm going to slide out at 135 degrees. I'm pushing into the wall, right? So I have that upward scapular rotation, about 135. Then I'm going to lift off and squeeze the shoulder blades together and even elevate a little bit. And I'm going to just bring it back down. And as I'm bringing it back down, be careful I'm not driving down and rounding, right? Notice, I still have that good posture. Shoulders come down, push into the wall, chin's packed, pull back, elevate a little bit, and back down. All right, so I do that for 8 to 10 also. Now we're, like I said, we're releasing the shoulder. Now we're creating some stability here. Now, as far as like separate drills, I've shown you guys like cars, so controlled articular rotations from FRC, which are some of my favorite things to do on a daily as rituals as well. So I'm gonna go just like a couple of reps here. I'll show you one great rep. I'll usually do this for 3 to 5. So always rib cage down, chin packed, right? Good postures, squeezing our glutes. Thumb comes up, so I'm going to go to end range, right? So I'm going to keep that shoulder down. I'm not shrugging it. Down. Once it can't go any further, I'm going to start internally rotating, trying to draw as big of a circle without cheating with my body. So no body language to the side, rotation, right? It's all in the shoulder. Long elbow. I'm trying to reach those end ranges. Slowly, slowly. From there, I'm going to go reverse extension. So I'm going to go into extension. Once I can't go any further, again, I start externally rotating in the socket. Long arm. Coming back up and down. And a lot of times I'd actually squeeze a tennis ball to get some of that tension into the rotator cuff. And we'd go 3, 4, even 3 really slow ones, great ones is excellent, right? So that would be our glenohumeral cars. Before that usually, but you can go afterwards too, we'd go our shoulder blade cars, right? So same thing, good posture. I'm gonna push my shoulder blades as far forward as possible without leaning forward, right? So it's just the shoulder blades. Then I'll just show you guys on this side, even though I'm doing it with both. I would elevate it up to the ears, pull it back and down, right? So forward, up, back, and down, right? So same thing, slow. Notice like these things are like nice and slow. I'll show another one. So you can go reverse, up, so you can just reverse it. Forward, down. So kind of like this box that we're creating is all coming from the shoulder blade, right? I'm not using my body, right? That's why everything is nice and solid. From there, I really like also these axial rotations. So meaning my arms out to the side. I'm squeezing everything. And I'm imagining that my bicep is a rotisserie chicken. Because a lot of people, look, I'm turning my wrist, but my shoulder's not moving, right? So it can be kind of a little bit of a cheat code. Oh, I'm getting range. Now I want this, right? This is a rotisserie chicken, or since I'm from the Balkans, it could be roasting a pig, right? But watch, right? How it's rotating inside of the socket as much as possible. I get as much range as I can possibly get. And then I'm going to turn it the other way around. So I'm going to externally rotate. Same thing. I'm thinking about this. Get as much range as I can. And internally rotating. Right. Same thing. 3 to 5. Usually I actually do it slower than what I'm doing right now. From there, okay, now we can go into a couple of things that I'm going to just show you 2 drills. Like think stability, right? We're already creating control and stability here, but if I was going to go on a training session, which I am, I actually go box, but like downward dog, where essentially I'm simulating now, creating some more load. So I'm here in a push-up position. I'm nice and tall. I'm going to push the ground away. Right? So this is looking like a landmine press. and I'm driving that ground. I'm getting that scap upward rotation. Coming back down and drive, right? So now, like I said, this would be part of the dynamic warm-ups essentially. And I'm really pushing the ground away, like I said, like this is a lift, okay? So, and I promise you, like this is feeling significantly better right now. And it was tweaky before we started. I mean, it's dramatically better right now, okay? And then last but not least, not to say that there's not other things that you can do, but I wanted to give you guys some practical things, is we got two options here, okay? One that I really like, and you kind of got to find what the appropriate amount of tension is here. I got a PVC pipe. I'm going to go drive, elbow, squeeze shoulder blades, then externally rotate, and then press. I'm still squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then press. Still squeezing the shoulder blades. Maybe I need to come in a little bit more. Okay, there we go. Coming back down. You can also just work on this. Watch. So I'm pressing up, squeezing those shoulder blades, and pressing down. So now we're creating that stability. Right, so now we got more range through everything, through like breathing, soft tissue release, reset, and then creating some more control and mobility, and then we're strengthening it through that pattern, right? So from there I could go pressing overhead or whatever movement I was gonna do and do ramp up sets, right? But that's the real time, hey, I'm bugging, I said, why don't we shoot this? And you guys see some things that I do to make my shoulder feel better. Try it, let me know how it feels. Man, and like, once again, don't push through pain, right? But try it, let me tell me how it feels. I'm going.